What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about SoFi, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what really moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 7.64% today, 1016 the low, 1101 the high. So ultimately, I feel like there's three main points on what caused all this kind of volatility today, negative volatility. Any stock running up between 15 to 20%, you're going to have a certain level of profit taking. So straight out the gate, that is what set the pre-market negative for SoFi and just the broader market. You had this nice spike right here, and that legitimately was good because it was associated to CPI. So both month over month and year over year came in better than anticipated, which is absolutely phenomenal news. But there was a little bit more of a caveat to that. Powell even previously stated that even if inflation was to go down in the short term, the Feds are not in any rush to cut rates. Over the last several weeks, we've had a lot of volatility due to tariffs, and the likelihood of recession did increase. So when it came down to this, so for the May 7th meeting, it was between that 60 to 65% yesterday of a likelihood of a cut. And so that was attributed to avoidance of a recession. So now with obviously the market in euphoria yesterday and everything else, you pretty much had the market pricing out that 25 basis point cut. So it's kind of a little bit more of a back and forth. And then as well, to make things even more interesting, you had this coming out saying that pretty much Trump did re-raise China to 145%. So things are getting interesting. Like I said, it's just a very big psychological game right now. And I don't know, I feel like the broader market did go down as well today because there was a good, strong understanding that China was going to fold and give in to the States, but they didn't. If anything, from what I've read so far, it looks as though that they're willing to double down. So you have two countries willing to really risk a lot to just be considered a winner. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But this just came out on a side note roughly around about an hour ago. And so it looks like the Trump administration is considering delisting Chinese stocks on US exchanges. So this is kind of interesting because actually I did a Neo video about this yesterday, saying that is going to be Trump's next kind of step, and lo and behold, this actually happened because he pretty much did the same thing back in 2018 2019. Never actually did delist any stocks that I'm aware of, but still I think it's just one of his tactics that he's going to be doing. So yeah, things are getting very interesting. You did have this news coming out from SoFi. So SoFi to reward up to 1 million in They Shoot You Score promotion for the SoFi NBA play-in tournament. So again, no different than yesterday's news. It's okay, but still not really a good reason to go out and buy SoFi nor sell. So that's just obviously my viewpoint based on this. So what do you think about that? Aside from all that fun stuff though, looking at shorts, they did increase 634,000 shares. So kind of breaking that trend where they returned 2+ million yesterday. So 12.79% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 137.75 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0, and then cost to borrow minimum is -0.22. So I've already explained this quite a lot in previous videos. The fact that it's 0, cost to borrow 0, is meaning multiple different brokers are really paying people to short SoFi. So you're seeing manipulation really kind of step up quite significantly. So kind of interesting for that. Looking at the options, kind of low dollar value today, so 8.09 million in calls, 5.73 in puts. 46% of all the options being done today were bullish in nature, and of the call options and the bulls, they're anticipating for it to be roughly around that $11.50 to $12 range, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub. Consensus is roughly between that $9 to $9.50, but you do see pockets for it to be sub $8, so more escalation clearly is anticipated. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market, so mostly buys near the tail end, so this is what caused it to go higher right here. But aside from that though, it's kind of just, I don't know, kind of interesting of a day. You didn't really see that full level of institutions really getting in that you would have assumed from yesterday's crazy euphoria. But Dark pool, as per usual, was very, very popular. So this is linked to, of course, shorting, as I've kind of explained in the past. So the only other new thing that really did come out was this. So it shows yesterday, but I believe it was posted early this morning. So there was Barclays Terry, who does have a 51% success rating, gave a hold $11 price target on SoFi. So not the most optimistic. At least it shows a little bit of upside, but still, given where SoFi is at currently $10.53, not really that much upside. So kind of interesting. As a consensus over the last 3 months, $13.33 is that price target, representing a 26.71% upside. With it closing at 10.52, now trading between this S1 and this S2, so 996 will be a strong support. Flip side, 1091 will be that next strong target / resistance. So for tomorrow, we'll just have to watch what PPI and also the Michigan consumer sentiment does bring, and potentially any back and forth between China and the States. On a FYI, this data, so the Michigan consumer sentiment, this has been a killer lately. So this has been one of the primary causes of the market to really shit itself. Pardon my French. But yeah, that one data point at 9 a.m. Just watch for a lot of volatility. If it is below the forecast of 54.4, then yeah, unfortunately, we're going to be erasing all of the gains that did come from yesterday. But aside from all of that fun stuff, though, on the actual chart, going over some key levels to really watch for. So that 200-day moving average is $11.36. Unfortunately, it was unable to close above that fully yesterday, and even for that today, so it kind of bounced off of that. Not necessarily the best, and it luckily enough did close above that ALMA of $10.20. So that's going to be a good support level as well to add to your current watch list for, or kind of points to watch for tomorrow. And then $11.36, that's if everything goes according to plan. Let's say we do see a nice shift with the Michigan consumer sentiment, then you could see a nice push higher. But as of right now, stochastic RSI, on a side note, is very somewhat oversold. So that's kind of a good thing and could really work in its favor tomorrow. So this was kind of a all over the place type of video. That's because we have like 1,000,001 things to consider as an investor. So fun times are ahead, I think. So it's really hard to catch the bottom with SoFi and just any stock out there. So I think the best thing to do, as what I mentioned in the video yesterday, dollar cost average. That's the best way to go, best kind of way to average down and not get caught, essentially, because I'm sure a lot of people up here at the $16 range just went all in, thinking it was going to go to you had a lot of, unfortunately, big individuals out there, pumpers, saying that it's going to go to 45 to a scene even $100, $160. So you had a lot of euphoria there. Whereas if you just dollar cost averaging, I'm sure your average generally would be roughly between that 9 and 10, I would assume. So yeah, let me know your general thoughts on SoFi. What's your viewpoint on everything that is affecting the market? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you think that it's kind of just too much? But my general thoughts on just the circumstances and everything, I feel like there is a lot of uncertainty associated to the tariffs. I think a lot of this volatility is kind of unjustified until we actually do see the true data. But at the same time, you would start to see companies mentioning layoffs. If they were truly concerned about everything, their profits and potentially a recession, you would see Microsoft, big AI plays, all starting to mention that they're going to be doing layoffs. You haven't seen any of that yet. So as far as time to worry, I don't think so. I do believe that it's a good opportunity to buy. With today's data, this is good. CPI came in lower, so it shows that inflation is essentially kind of reduced, at least for March. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. People get so caught up in the day-to-day emotions that they forget to actually invest in good, credible companies. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you're looking for some kick-ass buy signals, pop over to my Patreon to get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.